Hi guys, and welcome to Forge Right. Thanks for dropping in. If you haven't seen the channel before, my name's Andy. The channel is based around learning to become a blacksmith, starting as an absolute beginner. I cover setting up the forge, making the tools required to start smithing, learning basic techniques, and developing your skills. I also make metal fabrication videos, which can be very helpful when trying to build some of the tools and equipment that you'll need to use in the workshop. So, let's roll the intro and get started on today's video. I've been doing some work on my dies and just wanted to bring you up to date as to where I'm at. These two here are my hammer fuller dies. So these are the ones I was talking about earlier that have the main die, which is the hardox material, but I have cut some forklift tine. This is 25mm at its widest point and narrowing down with a radius, nice round curved radius on the end, and then I've welded a piece of 1-inch just mild steel stock to the top of there as an expendable striker plate, so also it overlaps, so it's nice and easy to grab onto to pull the die up and down rather than being just a smooth piece that you slip off. So, you know, nice and easy to grab. Also, it doesn't go all the way out to the edge because that'll encourage me to hit on the middle. I don't really want to hit out here and, you know, put pressure twisting the die at all. So it's a reasonably wide but not fully width striker piece. You'll notice the little arrow on there, and that is to help me guide the fuller in the right perspective, so to speak, the right direction. This is just a standard hardox fullering die, so just show you the bottom one, nice curved radius on that, and the other one exactly the same, of course. So it's 15mm, so depending on whether I want to put a 15mm fuller in or a 25mm fuller in, I can use those. I've also got these really large ones just in case I want to put a fuller in something other than a hammer. I don't think it's necessary to have them that wide for a hammer, but there's plenty of other jobs where you might want to have a nice curved shape, possibly even tongs. Setting in the tong, the boss for tongs, that might come in handy. So I've got a set of those which will go onto a set of sliders. So that's where I'm up to, and yeah, I'll leave it there for now. I forgot I was going to show how they actually work inside the guillotine tool. So as I say, bottom die for 25mm hammer fullers, the big size, drops in there. Top die for the same 25mm hammer fullers, drops in there. I'll just grab a piece of timber. Just a piece of pine for now because I don't have any hot steel at the moment. So I shall just lift that up, drop that on there, and give it a whack. And I think you can see there that that puts some pretty good depressions into the side of that. So once on that side, line that up, get it even, and once again some pretty good depressions in here. I'm not really lining these up very well, but just a bit of a test on some timber, and that'll snap in a second. I did a few before, and you do a few and then it just breaks the pine, but yes, I think you can see that that works pretty well. Then we've got our small fuller that can go in there. that one down there. Stick the piece in. As you can see, puts a nice fuller into there. It's reasonably deep. That works pretty well. I'll just get one in here, line that up as best as I can. Yeah, as I say, bit of power there, so it broke that other one off, but yeah, puts a nice fuller down through them. I think that will work exceptionally well. Here I am again. I felt terrible last time because I went and jumped the gun. Bit of premature excitement, and went and told you about the dies that I'd done, and of course I hadn't finished this tenon die. I hadn't welded on the striker, what would you call it, striker piece to the top of the tenon die, so I rushed off and did that, and now as you can see they line up quite well. So just a bit of a demonstration that the what the tenon die can do. Nice little square cut in there. We'll try and line that up as best I can there. Get that as near as possible. And that gets us a nice start of a tenon there. I'll try and do another one, but a little bit less vigorously. So I'll take more material for a start. Get it in the middle. 1, 2. Get those lined up. 1. 2. There we have the start of our tenon. So you can imagine you can use that to set down and then start drawing out from there and have a beautiful square shoulder. Doing some heat treating of the dies. Got to get this out before it gets too hot. There we go, that's looking pretty warm. I know that's not going to be magnetic, but I'll just test it anyway. Make sure I've got it same heat on both sides. Okay, number 1. This is the other one, so I'll get that into the flame now. Get this end of it hot. I should say, get the fullering end hot. Definitely hot. Good. 4 down, 2 to go. Right, having quenched those now, starting to clean them up. I'm just going to do another little job here. I've got this large pin, which I believe I showed in another video. It's 65mm by about 360 or 70, I believe it is, long, which I'm hoping to be able to make some hammers out of. I'm going to do some hardness testing on it, so I've cut a slither off that end of it, which gave me these. I'll just bring that down a little bit. Gave me these pieces here, so I've effectively cut the round piece into 4 equal strips, which I'm going to heat up and quench, and then do a bit of file and bend snap testing on. The sparks that came off them as I was cutting them seemed to be quite complex, so I'm hoping it's some pretty good hard steel. Don't know how tough it'll be. That'll be part of my tests. So I'm going to whack them in the forge and see what we come up with. Right, piece of steel number 1. They've all been heated past critical and quenched. We'll see what we've got here. Oh gosh. Well, I think you can see from that, yes, it has shined it a little bit. Oh, look how brittle that is. That has snapped off in the vise. So yes, that is hardenable. That has just snapped in the vise immediately. So I don't really even need to do a hammer test. I shall, like I say, skates extremely well. There we go. Not only did it break, it broke in 2 pieces, as in 2 pieces broke off the piece in the vise. I don't know where the other piece has gone, but trust me, it broke into several. Here we go. So we've got the piece in the vise, and we've got this piece here which snapped off of it as well. So extremely brittle now that it's been quenched. There we go, that's where that fits in there, and the whole thing broke off there. So that is clear evidence that it is incredibly hard now. Not very tough. Right, now what I'll do is I'll take this piece and I'll start to heat it up and try and get it tempered. As you can see, I've now tempered that back to a bluey colour. You can see the different colours going through it there. I think you can see them. Now I'll give it a snap test on various points and see whether it does snap or not. Obviously I've quenched it again to try and see if it gets some toughness back in it. Right. Let's see how it goes with the snap test now. Well, that looks a bit better. Look at that. She's now... Sorry about the camera work. Wasn't really organised enough, was I? She's now bending. Nice. And eventually, when I got it all the way over, she snapped. But that was bent at 90 degrees before it snapped. So I know I can harden it, and I know I can temper it. Excellent. Very pleased with that outcome for that bit of steel. So that was in the blue area. As you can see, I've got a straw area there. I'm going to put it back in the vise, tighten that up and see what happens over here. Hang on. Did that snap? No, it didn't. It released from the vise and took off. I obviously didn't have it down hard enough. Didn't have my vise holding it enough, but that shows me that with all that pressure bashing on it, it was wanting to free from the vise and fly across the room before it wanted to snap. So, very happy with that result. Okay, so these are my 16mm fullers that I will use for my hammers. What I'm going to do is I've got a piece of 16mm square stock, which just an offcut, 6-inch long piece, just heating it up, and I'm going to do a bit of experiment with my fullers. I've got 2 here that I want to play with. I've got the one I just showed you, and I've got this one here, which is actually the large 25mm fuller. It's working pretty well, that. I'm very happy with that. I'm imagining it's a hammer. Pretty pleased with that. On its own. Going to be a good start. You can see the first hit on this side was larger than the second hit because, of course, it went colder the second attempt. It's only a thinner material, so it cools down quicker than what a hammer blank will. But I shall give it another go once it heats back up again. Unfortunately, I just did the same one I did before. I just hit the original 15mm fuller from the other side, and then I went to the other one. So I'm running out of gas. Thought it was getting a bit low. Oh, what a shame. I wanted to experiment with my butcher. What a shame. As you can hear, the gas is almost gone. Right, that's a fail. Right, I just had that on the wire wheel just to clean it up so you can see it a little bit easier. I don't think that was quite clear before, but I think now you can see the fullers that were put in it by just a couple of hits. Nice clean. Of course that one was only done once, and that was the second hit when it was not very hot, but that's a beautiful fuller there, and equal on the other side. So those two are a good example of how a hammer will turn out. Deeper than that obviously, but it's a good start. It's also one hit with the 25mm fuller there, and again this one went offline, so of course I'll hammer those, keep them flat as I'm going. Anyway, there we go, some nice fullers. Just a bit of a test piece on some 16mm by 16mm bar. Of course it'll be a hell of a lot different when I go to attack 45 and 50mm thick material to make hammers with, but it's just slower, just more goes at it, and get it extremely hot, which I didn't get out of the gas forge today because I ran out of gas. That's why it wasn't heating up for me enough right from the start. Okay, well that's pretty much the end of the video for the guillotine tool. I'm very happy with the way that turned out. The tool itself works perfectly. The dies, I've now got 3 sets, I should say 4 sets of dies. One of them made out of the 25mm material. It's the hardness with the forklift tine attached to it. So a set of 25mm fullers, a set of 15mm fullers which are just made out of the hardness material, and a set of 16mm tenon fullers. So there's another set there. And as I showed in the beginning of the video, I also have a newly made and hardened but not tempered set of butchers. So very happy with that. Got them all but those hardened and tempered, so all good to use. And I just did a brief demonstration of how the fullering tool works and ran out of gas. So next video I'm going to be making a set of tongs, another set of tongs. I'm going to make a set of hammer tongs. I saw a video by Dan Moss, Trust Me I'm a Blacksmith. Great video, great teacher, and he showed how to make a set of hammer tongs and pickup tongs. Really interesting video, the last video I saw him put out, which was making blanks, and then at the end of that video you could choose whichever other video you went to turn that blank into either hammer tongs or pickup tongs. I need a set of hammer tongs. I've got my large bolt jaw tongs, but they won't be enough for all situations when I'm making hammers, so I'll be making a set of hammer tongs next. That'll be out of this same 16mm material. I wanted to see how I went with the guillotine tool using the butcher dies, just to be able to possibly do the set downs on my tongs, but we'll see how we go with that. And so next video will be a set of hammer tongs. Then I'll be happy with the tools that I've got to be able to make a hammer, and we'll get into making a hammer. My first choice will be trying to make myself a rounding hammer, which is what this entire series has been about. So that shouldn't be too far away. Hopefully next weekend, if I don't get called away at work or something else dramatic happens, which always tends to happen every second weekend. Okay, thanks a lot for watching Forge Right. I appreciate all of your attendance watching these videos. If you like the video, hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.